I'll be taking you through a demonstration of BUGFAST, a tool that represents the next generation in test automation. In many ways, BUGFAST is a paradigm shift. It enhances the speed, coverage, and maintainability of test assets. It really is the ideal way to deliver under tight timelines or with limited resources. In clients that have implemented BUGFAST, we've seen gains in the range of 10 to 15 times productivity. At the heart of these gains is the rapid script development tools that BUGFAST provides. These include automated script generation, easy test data management, and common test automation routines. BUGFAST gives total control to test managers and business analysts. It does this through a scriptless automation approach and also insightful dashboards and analytics. And then at the end of the day, it really provides these teams with full control of their testing schedule and effort. BUGFAST combines the best features of leading test automation approaches, and as you can see from the list on the right, it's effective with essentially all of the modern development platforms as well as many of the legacy platforms that applications are built on. And BUGFAST is a fully certified solution, beginning with SoftSol, the manufacturer of BUGFAST, which is an HP Software Silver business partner. BUGFAST itself has been certified by HP for interoperability. And finally, the experts that implement BUGFAST are all HP certified professionals. We'll now switch over to the actual demo of the BUGFAST solution. And what you'll see in this first part of the demo is the recording of the test case using a test capture tool, in this case QTP. And the application that's being demoed here is just simply a generic flight booking application. And this could be any application that you have. You might be an SAP, an Oracle application, or any custom build application that you use internally. And the manual tester here is just carrying out the normal steps that they would do during a regular test regression cycle. You can see, of course, they're selecting the arrival city, arrival date, the service class, etc., and then continuing on to just book that flight. One thing I'll note as you're watching this capture process is that when you actually implement the BUGFAST solution, the capture process really does not take any longer than a normal regression test cycle. In fact, in most cases, it will actually take less time than what it would normally require to record all those test cases. The reason it actually can take less time is because each of these test cases, and we'll show in a moment, each of these automated scripts are then componentized, which allows them to be recombined to create new scripts. Instead of having to re-record every time, you can just recombine components to create the new script. So you might only be recording one small segment. Now what you're seeing here on the screen in just a moment here, this is the recorded test script as it is produced by QTP. So if you only have QTP, if you don't have BUGFAST, you're essentially having to work with a lot of obscure code that, unless you're quite familiar with scripting languages, it's not going to be extremely useful to you as you're looking to maintain and maximize the reusability of your test automation assets. So the remedy for that then is to load the test case into BUGFAST AutoGen. And so that's what you're going to see. Right now we're just saving that test case, that automated script that's been recorded from QTP. We're just going to save that, and then we're going to load it into AutoGen that you'll see come up here in a moment. And then of course this is BUGFAST AutoGen, and we are creating the new project based on the test script that we just recorded. Now you can see that the script we recorded has now been loaded into BUGFAST AutoGen, and you'll see that it has been divided into 4 different components, and the user right now is just going through and giving those components a name that makes sense with the functionality. So you've got a login component, this one is an itinerary component, and of course the other two components will be given an appropriate name too. Something else you'll notice right off is, rather than the obscure code that you saw originally, now you have each of the elements of the script are divided into a clear category, such as the control name, the control type, the control action. And you'll see more and more how this categorization makes it so much easier for a business user to go through and maintain the scripts, update the scripts, recombine the scripts, and really get the full usability that the scripts offer. Now what's happening is, since we've created the test components, now what we're doing is combining the selected components we desire to include into what's called a testlet. And essentially a testlet is an end-to-end automated script. Now you'll see we've selected these 4 different components, and those can be reordered however the user desires. And now we've clicked create the testlet, and we're going to go to the data sheet that includes all of the testlets, and we'll look at that and see how that's stored. You'll see there's the testlet that we just recorded, the flight reservation testlet, and you can see that each of the components includes the name that we talked about. And you can either use the GUI interface, or you can just go directly to the controller sheet to make the updates to the test case. And then what we're looking at right now is the component sheet. And in the component sheet, if you select one of the components, you can see all of the elements of that component, including all of the actions, the control names, and everything else that's carried out in those. Finally, we're going to look at one more controller sheet, and that is the data port. The data port is where all of the data is separated out to. And this offers major advantages to have that data separated instead of statically contained within the code itself, like you saw in the original code that was generated by QTP. By having the data separated out, it allows the user to test for, they can change the data, they can test for a range of data without having to re-record a script. They could test for 100 different variables if they wanted to. They can also create validations that check to verify that algorithms are functioning correctly, and that all happens, here in the data port. Finally, what we're going to do is, now that we've created a testlet, we're going to actually run that testlet, and you can view essentially the BUGFAST solution in action. You'll notice how much more quickly this proceeds when it's executing the automated test case, as opposed to the manual tester going through and carrying out the test case. Generally, we find the speed takes about 10% of the time required to carry out the test case manually. But one thing about that is the gains are not just 10%. The fact is that you can run these test scripts at nighttime, and so it may really be, in terms of business hours, it may be no business hours. It could just be run at night, and then you get to see the reports when you come back in the morning. So you can see it's now running through. Of course, there's some limitation on the speed here due to the internet connectivity, but you can see it proceed very quickly through that automated test case that we created. Finally, here is the report that you receive at the completion of the test case. You can see that each of the results have pass on them. In this case, had one failed, you'd have a link there that you could click on to go to the screen that actually failed. You could view it and quickly diagnose what the issue was. We appreciate you taking the time to view this demo, and we encourage you to learn more about BUGFAST by going to www.softsol.net